Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Ganganapate Namo Namaha. Sarvamangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahasaraswati Rupena Samstita Namastase 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 Namo Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Gunatito Aksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottamaha Jano Janannidam Satyam Muchyate Bhavabandhanat. Om Bhagavate Shri Swami Narayanaya Namo Namaha. Om Shri Lakshmi Narayanaya Namo Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Narayanaya Namo Namaha. Om Vame yasya stita radha shrishya yasyasti vakshasi vrindavana viharam tam Sri Krishnam rudhi chintaye. Om nijatmanam brahmarupam dehatraya vilakshanam vibhavyatena kartavya bhaktihi krishnasya sarvada. Om yatra yogeshwarah krishna yatra partho dhanurdharah tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitirmatir mama. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vashishyate. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 30th of November 2022. With the blessings of all of the great sages and the Supreme Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord Himself, with all the great wishes of all of the enlightened sages in the Sanatana Dharma and throughout the world, we are able to contemplate on extraordinary truths that are in our scriptures like VIVEKCHUDAMANI. We say our scriptures, but these scriptures are for everybody. VIVEKCHUDAMANI is written by Bhagwan Shankar himself, actually, in the form of Adi Jagadguru Shankaracharya Ji. So Shankaracharya Ji is just another Sadguru. It's a Sadguru form of Bhagwan Shiv. So, having said that, every word of VIVEKCHUDAMANI, every line, every idea is divine. It is Divya. It is Divyati Divya. It is Alaukika, and it is very, very relevant all the time for all of humanity. So keeping this in mind, we are continuing from yesterday about the Bij Sadhana, meaning what? Bij meaning seed-based meditation. It is Sabija Dhyan. Dhyan meaning meditation. It is concentration, focus, discipline of different types. Thousands of different types are there, literally, and I'm not exaggerating on that, that are referring to this Sabija Dhyan. The Sabija Dhyan is also there. That is another massive subject. And there are some recordings that I have made over the years on this. I'll put it in the new podcast channel once we have that ready. And that is more along the lines of Buddhism and J. Krishnamurti, and those kinds of approaches are there. I just mentioned on one occasion on this couple of days back. The Sabija Dhyan is Vedic in nature. It is Vedic, and it is also part of the Shiva Shakti Tantra tradition. So it is both of those traditions, and I will explain what that is exactly. There's a lot of misunderstanding and confusion about this, so we will try to explain it in simple, straightforward way, but it should hit to the heart of the matter. So yesterday we were talking about the planting of the mantra in the system, right? So when we use a mantra, which is a type of Sabija Dhyan, mantra is a sound, but the sound, where did the sound come from? Like for example, yesterday we were talking about Namah Shivaya, the Panchakshari mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Where is the origin of this mantra? So all Veda mantras and the Shakti mantras that are there, and even the Vaishnava mantras. So any mantra in the Sanatana Dharma that is a bona fide mantra, it has two origin points. One origin is discovery through meditation. One has gone into discovery through experimentation. By experimenting with sounds, certain sounds have certain effect. So that is one way that these Bij mantras were discovered, that the Bij sounds, that the mantras were created. But that's not completely just a human creation. No. It is an experimentation to discover the mantras that are already present in the cosmos and beyond the cosmos. So the other way that the mantras came about is that they were heard, they were revealed inside the mind. So the sound like Om and so many others, these were revealed, and then the various rishis, they put them together so that people in the world can chant them and get the benefit of that. It is not anything different than, let's say, like a chemical formula. If you have a chemical equation in chemistry or biochemistry, you put the reactants together and then you mix them, and then there's a certain heat and all that, and then you get a product at the end. That is in the material world. That's material science. Similarly, this is a spiritual science, but it is a psychological science mostly. It is a psychological science, then goes further into the chakra system, and then eventually goes back into the Atma and Paramatma. This is the whole link. So when mantra like Namah Shivaya mantra is spoken, it has been around for thousands of years. They say over 10,000 years. Why something survives like that? Because it is a Sanatana mantra. When chanting Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, that is going to open the mind. So now let's look at what we mean by Sabija Dhyan. Sabija Dhyan meaning the planting occurs. Let's say somebody has never chanted Namah Shivaya mantra. They don't know anything about Shiv mantra or any such thing. But they start speaking the mantra. They're sitting at home or sitting in nature, sitting in a forest, sitting in a wilderness somewhere, sitting in a temple somewhere, doesn't matter. You sit wherever, but you start speaking this mantra. It has a stabilizing impact. So remember the 5 things we talked about, the internal mental mechanism: thoughts, emotions, memories, desires, and energy. These 5 are our internal reality. Every human being has these 5 aspects. They're not parts really, they're all one thing. It's called Antakarana. But they are 5 in nature. They are 4 actually, Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar. But I have put it in a little different way to make it easier to understand that thoughts, emotions, memories, desire, energy. So when mantra like Namah Shivaya mantra is spoken out loud. Okay, now there's 3 ways of speaking the mantra also. When you speak the mantra out loud, it is good, no problem. So you're hearing the mantra. So for example, Sachin says, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. When we speak the mantra out loud, what does it do? The sound goes through our own ears, and it impacts our mind, our brain, our body, the energies within the 9 chakras. It impacts it directly. But it also changes the vibration of the outside environment. So when we have a meditation room, or when you have a meditation place, this is how the temples were constructed. That's another big history, where all these temples came from in the Hindu religion. These temples were not simply like somebody created something. It's not like that. These temples began with meditation in the caves, actually. In isolated areas, quiet areas, in nature, but where there is complete silence. And then the mantras are spoken. So mantras are spoken, Om Namah Shivaya. Even we can experience this. If we go into a beautiful mountainous area like Shenandoah Valley, Smoky Mountains, into a beautiful natural setting, in a very nice, mild day, and you're sitting under a beautiful tree, like the Buddha sat, you're sitting under a beautiful tree, you take a beautiful mala and you say, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Take steady breaths in and out. See the beautiful experience. You see, it is a sadhana. So it is an openness. So now there's various ways of doing this. One is like this open meditation with the vastness of the mountains and the trees and the sky. That vast open eye meditation, it's called. It's called open eye meditation. And then there is closing your eyes and meditating. So there's really 2 different approaches in even doing this Namah Shivaya mantra or in many other mantras. In simple language, we can put it this way. If Sachin is doing Namah Shivaya meditation with the mala and with the feeling, with the bhav that everything is consciousness, everything is alive, everything is divine, everything is existing first. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness. Ananda is joy. That's Satchidananda. That is Namah Shivaya. That is Bhagwan Shankar. Bhagwan Shankar kaun the? That is another whole subject. But the point is, the mantra, we're talking just about mantra right now. The mantra is a very, very, very potent medicine for the mind. It is a medicine. At our level of humanity, these mantras that are in the Sanatana Dharma, they are like medicines. Not just like medicines, they are a medicine. But they are a medicine that acts upon the internal mechanism of the mind. It acts upon our thinking ability. Thinking, how does it act upon thoughts? It purifies the thought. This is called Shuddha Vichara. Shuddha Vichara Dhara Praptihi. What does it mean? That the quality of our thinking changes. The thinking that is polluted, thinking that is filled with negative energy, thinking that is filled with all kinds of confusion and distortion and agitation. The mantra, Namah Shivaya mantra, I'm using that as an example. There's many other mantras also, but Namah Shivaya mantra will directly act upon the thinking process, the cognitive process. In Sanskrit, we say Sankalpa Vikalpa. Sankalpa and Vikalpa, these are again two words. Sankalpa are those decisional thoughts. Okay, I want to do this. I make a decision, like the Buddhi Tattva, it makes a decision that I'm going to take this particular, that is called, or I want a particular thing to happen. That is Sankalpa. Vikalpa is like, maybe this versus this versus, it's like maybe this path, maybe this path, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. That is called Sankalpa Vikalpa. So, ये जो कहते हैं ना कि संकल्प विकल्प का नाश कीजिए. What is that nash of the destruction of Sankalpa Vikalpa? It is the integration of Sankalpa Vikalpa into a clarity that is called Jnana Drishti. Jnana Drishti, it is called Jnana Chakshu. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Bhagwan is saying, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, and he says, Dadami Jnana Chakshu. I am going to open your Jnana Chakshu through Buddhi Yoga. So the Jnana Chakshu opens, the awareness opens, the mantra that is spoken with bhavana. Now you will see that the bhavana is what? It is devotional, it is bhakti bhav. Mantra that is spoken without bhakti bhav, with ego, that is asuri bhav. Same mantra can be spoken with asuri bhav. This is the thing about mantras. In the history of Sanatana Dharma, you have devotees chanting the same mantra and you have asuras chanting the same mantra. There are so many stories and examples of these asuri meaning what? These individuals who are ego driven. They want something for themselves and they want that certain power, certain aishwarya to rule others, to dominate others, this kind of thing. But they do intense sadhana. For example, from a material point of view, the development of all of these nuclear weapons that is there in the whole world, ये सब क्या है? ये आसुरी तत्व है. To blow the whole humanity apart. इसमें कोई benefit है किसकी? There's no benefit for anybody in this. You can blow the world over hundreds of times over. That's how many weapons there are. So this is using Shakti, using intelligence for destructive purpose. इसको आसुरी भाव कहते हैं, which is 90% in this world today with all these conflicts and problems and wars and all this thing going on. That is the prabhav of Kali Yuga. But those who are having Divya Bhav, see, Divya Bhav is Bhakti Bhav, it is devotional Bhav, it is the Bhav to help others. So Namah Shivaya mantra, if the Bhav is there for the betterment of others, then that mantra is going to impact that way. Now, somebody will ask the question, wait a minute, are you saying that these mantras can be chanted for negative purpose? Yes, they can be. Absolutely, they can be. But if it is chanted that way, because see, the rule is this, the law is this, when somebody does sadhana, and it is a bona fide sadhana, there is a phalam, a fruit that you get from the sadhana. This is described in the Gita also. Let's be clear about this point. This is a very big subject. We need so much time to cover all this. But I'm not sure how to put it in short period of time. See, when you do any sadhana, there is a fruit that is generated. See the importance of this. For example, when Sachin, let's say Sachin says here, a person says, I want to do Namah Shivaya mantra 1008 times every day for 6 months. And there's a sankalpa, a wish. Maybe it is a very good sankalpa for the benefit of the family, for some removal of some disease, from some removal of obstacle. Fine. This is called Shuddha Sankalpa. Now that is within the realm of Maya, but it is for some good purpose. Now there's another kind of sankalpa that is called Divya Sankalpa. So that's the devotee says, sadhak says, I want to have darshan of Bhagwan Shankar. I want to have darshan of the chakras. I want to have darshan of the Brahmanda. I want to have darshan of the Parabrahma. Whatever, spiritual wish, adhyatmic wish. That is called Divya Sankalpa. And so there's that development between Sakam and Nishkam Bhav. Sakam means with desire, Nishkam means only for prasannata. And the highest level of devotion is where there is not asking anything from God except for prasannata. Bhagwan ki prasannata. You ask that much is fine. But nothing other than that. That is called Param Nishkam Bhav. Now the people who are these Asuri Tattva, when they do sadhana, they get the fruit. But that fruit is such that it destroys them also. That is the interesting part. If you look at the story of Hiranyakashipu, we all know this story. I don't want to be killed in any situation, but some doorway is open there, and then Bhagwan Narsiha Dev took incarnation, and then he was killed. A lot of stories are there. The point is, Asuri Bhav is destructive. So people do sadhana. Even today there are people who are doing sadhana of this type. And it is called tamsik sadhana. So this kind of sadhana is meant to harm others, harm somebody. This kind of thing is meant for harm. And that kind of sadhana harms the person doing that sadhana. So isiliye these mantra sadhana, one has to be very careful with mantra sadhana. What is the bhavna inside? Because mantra is raw power. It is raw, it is Bhagwan ki shakti hai, but he's given the freedom to the Jivatma that you decide how you want to use that power. For example, if somebody gives, let's just say somebody gives Sachin $1,000, then Sachin has freedom to decide how should I use this? What should I do with this? Isn't it? It's a raw power, it's a raw energy. Or Sachin earns $1,000, let's put it that way, works somewhere, earns $1,000. What should I do with it? Should I pay bills, or should I do other things, or what should I do with it? Similarly, when sadhana, mantra sadhana is performed, there is an energy that is developed. Now, along these lines, the intelligence to use this energy for benefit of others, benefit of oneself, for benefit, sarva bhuta hite rataha, for benefit all around, that intelligence is Divya Buddhi. It is Shuddha Buddhi. It is Jnana Drishti. And apart from that, if it is ego driven, then it may be just for, that I want this thing, the me that is strong. Maybe it's not negative. Maybe it's maybe it's not like harming anybody, but it could be a Rajsik Ichha. And I'm giving this background right now before we get into the Navaran mantra. What is the power of the Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche? We have to understand this before we go into the glory of the Navaran mantra. So, the three gunas of Maya, Sattva Gun, Rajogun, Tamogun, Trigunatmika Devata. So the Trigunatmika Devata means what? That the power of Paramatma that is within the three gunas of Maya, it becomes activated and available for the sadhaka. I'll give you an example. There is a form of Devi called Chinnamastika. I don't know if you know about this, but you can look it up. I'll send you the links when we create the newsletter later on. It's amazing. Out of the 10 Mahavidyas, Chinnamastika is there. It is an incredible sadhana. But the point in that is that one who has a lot of Rajogun Ichha, Rajsik Ichha, for Bhog. So there is even sadhana for that. But that is the difference between Shakti Upasana and all other Upasana. शक्ति उपासना ऐसी उपासना है, इसमें सत्वगुण है, रजोगुण है, तमोगुण है, and it is also guणातीत. Beyond the three gunas, all four possibilities are present in Shakti Upasana. That is why Shakti Upasana is to be done under the guidance of an enlightened sage who doesn't have any ego, who is showing how to do the Upasana only for the purpose of the benefit of the world without any ego-driven activity. Otherwise, that energy can go in a lot of other directions. One has to be careful with that. That is why the bhavana is important. See, it's like this. You know, if you have, let's say you have this nuclear energy. Nuclear reaction is going on in the nuclear power plant. The energy is not at fault at all. It is a reaction with uranium and all the other elements there. But that same reaction can be put into a bomb and that can destroy so many people. And that same reaction can be put into the nuclear reactor and it will light up millions of homes. It's the same energy. The same energy can be used for destructive purpose. The same energy can be used for constructive purpose. It is raw energy and that is under Prakriti. And I'm just setting some of the foundation for Navaran Mantra. We may have to spend some time on this one. Really look at this carefully. This is all part of Dhyan Yoga. And underneath Dhyan Yoga, we're talking about Mantra Sadhana right now. And what is the power of each mantra and how it develops within. So when a sadhaka is chanting the mantra, the intention, the sankalpa, why you are chanting the mantra. No mantra should be chanted without a set intention. That should be very clear. Why you are chanting that? You see? Abhi now isme kya hai? Bhajan Kirtan is very different. Different in the sense it is a constructed phenomena from the human mind. Mirabai wrote so many bhajans. Tulsidas ji wrote bhajans. In Swaminarayan Sampradaya, Muktanand Swami, Premanand Swami, Nishkodanand Swami, bahut bade paramahans the. They have written thousands of bhajans and pads and kirtans and all that. That is through the human mind. It is also divine. It is also, but how can I say this? It is not a Ved mantra. And it is not a Shakti mantra. These have Shakti in them. They have some connection with the original mantras, but they are spoken at the human level using the human mind, like that, which is easy to understand and to speak and all that. But those are bhajans. Those are created through the mind, even by the great devotees. Do they have divinity in them? Of course. Can the bhajan become like a mantra? Yes, if you go further in it, but it doesn't have the same caliber as a mantra. No bhajan has the same caliber as a mantra. Namah Shivaya mantra is billion times greater than all the bhajans combined. This is the fact. Namah Shivaya mantra chanted 1,000 times, it's millions of times greater than all the bhajans combined. Simply because the bhajans are created from the human mind. Are they good? Yes. Are they going to help us? Yes. Are they something that we can really connect with internally using the help of mantras? Yes. It is a complement. It's not contradictory at all. But it has its own status. So when we say bhajan, when we listen to bhajan is very good. It is a stabilizer also. It has a lot of meaning behind. There's a lot of ideas in there. There's a lot of bhavna in there. It's relatively very mild form of dhyana. Even those who are listening to lots of bhajans, you will notice that the effect of bhajans is very different from mantra. Effect of bhajan is very mild compared to mantra. You see, so when we speak the mantras like Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche, that is a tremendous thing. I mean, that has all the bhajans inside there. Now, to understand this a bit further, the point I was trying to explain is that mantra, any sadhana you perform produces a phalam, a fruit. What is the fruit? That is the experience in this world that becomes available for you. Because God knows, Bhagwan Paramatma knows what you are wanting. But if you know what you are wanting, you're clear about that, then that kind of fruit will be generated. If you're wanting a sattvic fruit, you will get a sattvic fruit. I'm talking about Shiv Shakti mantra right now. The other mantras like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Vishnu Sahasranam, those are more nirgun mantras. Those are more beyond the sattva gun. Their aim is beyond sattva gun. They're also sattvic. They don't have much anything rajoguni or tamoguni in them. You see that they don't have. They're like a specialization. So we'll talk about that later on sometime. But in Shiv Shakti, you have every possibility. That is why in Bhagwan Shankar ki bhakti sab karte, including the ghosts. Oh, Bhutnath. Bhagwan Shankar is called Bhutnath. The Shiv mandir is open all the time. There's no curtain or anything like that, like in the Vaishnava temples. The reason behind that is because it is a full reality that is open there. The other upasanas are specialized upasanas. So asuras, devtas, everybody worships Shiva. And Shiv Bhagwan Shankar ka kya hai? Unka naam hi wo hai Bholenath. You do the sadhana, you will get the fruit. 100%, guaranteed, 100%. But what is it that we really want? The Bhagwan Shankar, when we go to Bhagwan Shiv, we say Namah Shivaya mantra, we must be clear what it is that we are wanting to experience. Somebody says, no, I want to learn the Gita thoroughly. Oh, Bhagwan Shankar, you bless me with that knowledge. Guaranteed it will happen, 100%. Depends on what, and do the sadhana. But somebody says, no, I want to get, a massive job. I want a big position. I want this and that. Okay, no problem. You'll get, eventually you'll get it. You do the sadhana, eventually that fruit will come. But that fruit is limited. So in Shiv, Shakti, Upasana, Dhyan, Bhajan, Kirtan, everything, mantra sadhana, there is a fruit that is generated. And then the Jivatma is experiencing that fruit. So this type of fruit generation sadhana can be performed if that is what you're looking for. But if you are looking for the realization of the Atma, the same sadhana can take you to the Atma. That is why before we do the Durga Saptashati sadhana, and I'm going a little bit slight diversion here, but when we go into the Durga Saptashati sadhana, or the Siddha Kunjika sadhana, or the Navaran mantra sadhana, or any of the Devi mantra sadhanas, it begins like this. Om Shri Chandika Aye Namaha, Om Aim Atma Tattvam Shodhyami Namasvaha. What is the why that is there? That the aim of the Aim Bij mantra, which we'll talk about, probably have to talk about it tomorrow. The aim is to realize the Atma. Every sadhana of Shiv Shakti is to realize the Atma, Atma Tattva. It's aiming towards that, but there's a lot of intermediate experiences one may go through, depending on one's desires. It is a path of bhukti and mukti. Bhukti means worldly enjoyment and mukti. It is a combined path. It is the only sadhana in the whole world where bhukti and mukti are combined together. They're mixed together. It is an extraordinary thing to understand. You see, but the point is, again, another massive area of research and discussion. Massive. To understand this idea of bhakti, mukti, the Ardhanareshwar Swarup, the Shiv Ling and all that, what it all refers to from the chakra system and the Sahasrara, that is the Kundalini Yoga, that is the Shakti Upasana to awaken the internal power for the purpose of enlightenment. The point is simply that we want to make today is that when we do mantra sadhana, when there is discipline, when there is regularity, then there is an energetic development, and the seed that is planted, it grows. It grows further and further and further and further and further. So the growth, this is called Sabija Dhyan. Sabija Dhyan means you plant the seed of the mantra, and with that mantra, with bhav, with bhakti, and if it is done with the intention of prasannata, Bhagavat prasannata, that is the highest. There's nothing beyond that. But if we have other desires, other issues, things are going on in life, no problem. To clear out the problems of life, Shiv Shakti Upasana is number one. Anivarya, in my opinion, Anivarya is absolutely essential. So that will also, it will clear it out. It will clear out the obstacles. And by the grace of God, then the further development occurs. So Namah Shivaya mantra, it will clear out the obstacles. And then the Navaran mantra connects with that. So Navaran mantra, this Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche, this is a Maha mantra. It is a Maha mantra. So Om, we talked about it before a little bit, but this Aim Bij mantra, just say something about it today and then we'll continue on that a little bit later on tomorrow further. The Aim, this is a sound, right? So how is it pronounced? Om Aim. It can be extended out. Some people will chant Aim like this. Or Aim. Again, this is a vibrational sound. This vibrational sound is extraordinary. Just this one mantra, one Bij mantra only, just Aim Bij mantra, it is enough for enlightenment. Even if one doesn't know anything else, just chanting this Bij mantra, it will open everything. Incredible. This is the power of these Vedic mantras and the Shakti mantras. Because these sounds are connecting with Ananta Shakti, the infinity. That is the Brahman. So when we speak this mantra, Om Aim, 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 what is the effect? When whose mantra is this? What is this mantra? This mantra is called the Maha Saraswati Bij mantra. You see, so Maha Saraswati is Aim, Maha Lakshmi is Rhim, Klim is Mahakali. All three are present. So when we speak Aim Bij mantra, whether we know the meaning or not, the effect or not, it is going to have an impact on the system directly. It is going to open the mind further out of the limitations and entanglements, and it will allow for great wisdom and knowledge to dawn inside. So the support of the Bij mantras, or Bij mantra as a primary sadhana, is fantastic. Beautiful. Just speaking, just using a rosary bead, put a small diva on, have an image of the goddess or the Shivling, Ganesha, keep always Ganesha, and do the sadhana. And your guru. Om Aim, Aim. It is possible to do just Aim Bij mantra sadhana. And what does it do? It will build. You'll see new thoughts come, new ideas come, new perspectives open up. A broader vision opens up. And that's what humanity needs. Humanity needs a broader vision. That's why we have so many different gurus in different traditions, in different paramparas today, that are showing variety of paths to open the mind further. You see, so when the gurus are teaching this Guru Vakyam, when they're sharing and teaching, that speak this mantra, that is coming from tradition, but it's not something that is fake. It is something that is very time-tested. That if we speak the Aim Bij mantra, and as a sadhana, regular sadhana, a point will come where the mind will become very clear. It will become very steady. There will be a much broader vision that will keep opening. And that broader vision will lead to Jnana Shakti. It will open Jnana Shakti. So now you will see how Dhyan, meaning mantra meditation, a type of Sabij Dhyan, that will open Jnana Shakti. And when Jnana Shakti opens up, then one is liberated into the Atma. This is a path. It is a path into the Atma, into the internal reality that is the self. And then that is a more advanced subject also. What is the self and what occurs as you approach the Atma? In this, as the sadhaka approaches the Atma, there is so much clarity, stability, tremendous power is flowing through the Mahan saint. This becomes a great saint. इसको महापुरुष कहते हैं. And such a being, उनका दर्शन जो हो जाएगा तो भी कल्याण होता है. These are the great, amazing sages in the Sanatana Dharma. There today also. So many, there are many of them. They're really their presence speaks only. And they have realized, the Atma, then there's the Atma Darshan that begins. And then the Samyak Atma Darshan. Samyak means full Atma Darshan, which is not a boundary-laden phenomena. It is the Atma in its entirety, in its totality. That is called Samyak Atma Darshan. That is also called Atma Sakshatkar. That is the aim of all of this. But there are many pathways, many ways of trying to reach this. Right? So there's so much to be said. In summary today, with the prayers at the feet of Bhagwan Shankar, at the feet of all the great sages and all the forms of the Mahashakti and all the great gurus, we just want to offer our beautiful satsang at their feet so that they can bless us and take us forward further and further. It is through their blessings that we can go further. Purusharth, our self-effort has a place, but the ego is the biggest obstacle, that I am doing sadhana. That's a big problem. It is not that I am doing sadhana. Sadhana is being done by the grace of the Guru. Even Shankaracharya ji is always at the feet of his Guru. There's no I that is present, that I am, even though he's talking about Aham Brahmasmi and the highest Vedantic truths, he is always at the feet of his Guru Govinda Padacharya. Always remaining as a sevak, as a humble servant at the feet of one's Guru. How beautiful. That protects the sadhak from ahankar. ऐसी अलौकिक अद्भुत बात है सब. कहाँ से शुरू करे, कहाँ से बंद, इसका बंद हो ही नहीं सकता. It is अनंत हरि कथा अनंत. It is infinite. ये अनंत सब दिव्यता है इसमें. So we'll stop here for today and we will do the closing prarthana right now, and then because I have an 8:30